What's up, everybody? Big Hurt 916 getting down with Fresh Out. And I'm here with my man, Sinister Monopoly, and we chopping it up, man. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. When we hit 1 million, we're going to do big things. Sinister's going to do a giveaway with us, man, and we're going to make it happen. But a lot of you guys don't listen to me. I'm sorry you don't listen.
Oh, man, they need to, bro.
They don't listen, though. So, we're going to tell you about some prison hustles because you're going to have to work. You're going to have to get your ass up in the morning and work to go to a job in prison, whether you like it or not. I know a lot of you guys saying it's what they said. What did they say? They said 13th Amendment outlawed indentured servitude. But when you get to prison, you cannot lay on your bunk all day.
Huh. So it's interesting. People may not know that, and I didn't know that until I arrived at the prison, right? And they're like, "You got to get a job," and I was like, "What do you mean? I'm in prison?"
yeah. I got to work too.
Yeah, man. So then it's like Herc's saying, it's mandatory. Yeah. You must have a job.
Yeah.
So eventually, I navigated, and I would pay like various people that maybe didn't have family putting money on their books, to where I'm like a wise guy, nah, I'm not working for these people. They already got me here doing a bid.
Exactly. Yeah. I can't leave.
Yeah. And then some of these jobs, you get $5 a month. Yeah, literally. Yeah. And this is not like being funny or a joke. Like probably 50 to 70% of jobs in federal prison, they maybe get like under $12 for the entire month.
Well, I had a job. The first job I got was at Lompoc USP, and it was kind of a job where it allowed me more free time, but I was on a toast crew.
Okay.
So only 3 days a week I'd have to get them to make toast, because they would only have
Weird.
toast on certain days.
Yeah.
On the weekends you had the big meals.
It seems like they would have you in the kitchen 24/7 then.
No, toast.
Day,
we would get up like probably 4 in the morning, 4:30, be at work by 5. We'd be making like a bunch of trays of toast, and we get in there, and I got hooked up to another cat. My old celly, shout out to Cato. He hooked me up. I went in there and make toast, and I'd be done. Once I made toast for that day, I wouldn't have to go to work again until they had toast again. But toast was a big thing in there.
Yeah.
Because, dudes make them egg sandwiches.
Of course. People that don't know, they sell those on the side.
Egg
That's
sandwich,
how they make
man.
money.
I knew a dude who was making probably $100 a week selling egg sandwiches.
I used to buy sandwiches in advance.
Yeah, remember with the 5 stamps, 6 stamps?
Yeah.
So you had egg, bacon, and cheese. Yeah. Egg, ham, and cheese.
Or a hamburger that had an egg on it.
Yeah, a fat burger.
Yeah,
fat burger.
Yeah.
And people literally, I remember dude had special draws.
And it's funny when they pass it off, it act like it's like contraband. Like, and they pass you like a hamburger or something.
And I remember dude had you'd have a certain type of outfit on to smuggle. Remember, you leave the kitchen like a big jacket.
Well, the people that worked in the kitchen, they have a strap.
Yeah.
They don't know.
You make those.
The clothes,
you make
underneath
those.
the clothes, they pack it.
Yep.
Because when you leave your job at the kitchen, the job of a guard is to pat you down so you're not stealing vegetables. Dude, all the people from the kitchen know to hit me when they get off work. They would come and be like, "Yo, Jason, we got vegetables. I got cheese," and I'll be like, "What you want for it?" I had it pretty good in prison for a minute, or at least I carry myself.
Like Goodfellas?
Yeah, like Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
And so, you and I, we know how to work our universe, and we're that type of personality, right? And so I started purchasing. You can have almost like this little Rubbermaid container underneath your bed, and it's like one drawer, right?
Yep.
And you can buy it on commissary, and then off the out of your unit, they had ice machines. So
that was like your freezer.
Exactly, yeah. So I started paying someone, that we're talking about in a minute, like entrepreneurs as a hustle, that maybe he didn't have money, and I would pay him like $5 a week or whatever it was to go and get me ice 2 or 3 times a day. So he would row when the yard hit, and you can go do a control move. You'd run and get ice, bring it back, and then the guys from the kitchen always knew to bring me vegetables, cheese. There was one time we had one of my cellies, We were having like a Super Bowl party, and it was literally like Goodfellas. I probably had, I kid you not, like 100 hot dogs, probably 100, like literally the things were like in boxes.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was a strap. It was the kind of play where the plumbers went in with a moving cart.
Oh, yeah.
And they were putting shit on the moving cart.
Yeah, it's like a whole operation. To
oh my God,
it
was a straight smuggling. Yeah. So I was like, damn, I'm going to the shoe if they hit us before the Super Bowl. Or if it was someone's birthday, we would just load up. And we would have like raw meat.
It's
like
funny you
everything.
say that because I remember I had a dude who was the Eggman.
I used to get eggs all the time.
Bring back boiled eggs.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, they'd hustle that. I stay
with the eggs.
I stayed with the eggs. I had another dude who'd bring me steak. I don't know where we get because we never seen on you never seen steak on the main line.
Right.
But he would bring it back.
Maybe
like,
for the guards.
For the guards and stuff. Yeah. And he's like, Big Hurt, come to my cell. I go to cell. He's like, oh, we were eating steak up in there a couple times. Me and my dude. And so the hustles. That was one of the biggest was the food hustle from the kitchen. You had your food connection. Like I had a paisa. And I had another cat, and they would always hook me up because the paisas always worked in the kitchen, and they had all the vegetables, all the chicken,
and they know their clients. Like those guys know they can come to me and off the product.
Oatmeal, I know, dude. Like Big Herc, I got oatmeal. I said, come through. Yeah. They know, like big man, you eat right. And like
man.
Hook you up.
I would buy the weirdest things. I would tell them, give me baking soda, and they were like, for what? And I was like, it's good when you brush your teeth. It makes them white. And they're like, okay. And they're like, and I'd say, bring me cinnamon, bring me sugar.
You know what though? I felt like buying from a guy stealing was better than giving it to the commissary. You know what I mean? I'd rather buy.
Good way to look at it.
You know what I mean? I'd rather buy from the paisa stealing oatmeal because he's taking from the system because the system already got us.
Me and you
and
both.
I'd buy peanut butter. He'd bring a thing of peanut butter. Dude, I was buying everything I could from people stealing in the kitchen.
Really quickly, just to touch on the commissary, a lot of people don't know that it's owned by the Keefe, right? Which is Keefe and then the Bob Barker,
and the Bush family.
It's the Keefe is the Bush family.
Yeah.
So a lot of people maybe need to be put up on this. So these companies, they move their product into the prisons, right? So let's say they move their product into Walmart. It might sit on the shelf in Walmart. It might be some like oatmeal, right? And it's a no-namer. But in prison, they're going to sell millions of them. So they have a built-in monopoly, and these dudes roll through and they just serve. And that's probably another way to keep inmates in prison because they make so much money off selling us coffee, selling us tortillas, beans. And then people don't know in prison too, you can buy like music. Like I can buy the hottest Drake song, right? And that's $1.50. I might spend $10 today in prison, but you know who's getting that? Bro, like the majority of that is the people. They're making, I don't even know if they're giving the money to the rappers, bro.
Well,
like they're making, imagine if there's like 200,000 inmates and they're all spending $10 a day on music.
Yeah, it's a cold hustle in prison, man. The whole overall game, how it's being played, and like you said, even like, remember like when they put the new shoes, these are old shoes Big Five couldn't sell. Remember, but they got the new Nikes, and they come in there, and you're looking like, dude, oh, you got the new ones.
Those are fresh. Put new ones on the yard.
Dude, and it's like the cheapest shit on the street, but in prison, and they're charging not prison prices, $80. So you're whole for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. You saved up to get these kicks, and you're basically buying something at Big Five that was like $20.
Right.
You don't remember in the Big Five they have a sale like 2 for 40, 2 for 80.
People that may not know in prison too, they people that don't go or never been, they think you got to buy like you don't have to pay for things like shoes. Like they'll automatically give you shoes.
No, you got boots. That's all you have, boots.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, that's why people need money on their books because like they want to sell you a pair of New Balance, but when you step foot on the prison, they're going to give you boots that'll give you all kinds of...
tear your feet up.
Tear your feet up. So the first thing you need is like, I need a pair of Nikes or New Balance, whatever.
Usually the homie come through and try to give you an old pair.
And so the reason we'll lead into these sort of hustles and entrepreneurs because maybe somebody doesn't have their mom, their dad, their cousin, their brother to put that money on for them to buy the $80 shoes, And so what they're going to do is they're going to start a business in prison, right? They're going to, as remedial as it is, and you guys might be like, oh, that's above my pay grade. They'll have people shining shoes. They'll have people doing ironing.
Remember for like visiting outfits?
Yeah, they iron your clothes. And, for somebody like me, like, man, this is cool. I love it because I've always been the type of person to outsource people for things because that's the entrepreneur in me. Like, you know, like when I started making money doing my D-boy things, I would hire people to do everything. Oh, come put my PlayStation in. Oh, come pick up the dog shit at my house. Come everything. Like I didn't do anything anymore. And that's how sometimes entrepreneurs are built, is be able to, you know, be leaders like that, right?
Well, remember, like you said, you had the guy that did laundry.
Yeah.
You had the guy that did the...
Bro, I had a full staff in prison.
That's what I mean.
People don't know. I would tell my cousin, they'd be like, how's it going? I was like, you tell me, bro. I have a guy that fucking cleans my clothes. I got a guy that does my iron. I got a guy... And they're looking at me like, what? I'm like,
yeah, you got a guy that cooks?
Yeah, I buy burritos already done. Like, what? And people trip like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, you got your
like,
burrito guy. You had a guy at our prison, he would make candies. He was hustling candy, like, you know, the little candy. He'd hook him up. You're like, damn, but he was slinging, making $300-400 a month candies.
Wait, let's tell the people like what type. How did he make it? I could tell you how I saw.
You know what? I can't even remember because he would do it like in a cell in secret. He would almost be kind of like, he would do it, then he'd come out and cook it in the microwave, then go back. And then when he come through, he would have like people who'd order, give me 10 of those, give me 5 of those. He'd make all type of shit.
So some of the food ones that I saw that were like candy related, they make cakes. And you would think, like, how are they making a cake, bro? So they take cookies and squash them into just like pure dust. And then that's like an Oreo is the crust, right? And then they take like creamer from coffees and other stuff, and they make like cheesecake and weird things.
Isn't that crazy, man? How ingenious?
Yeah, bro. Some of these things are very ingenious when it comes to that. But as far as the candy, one guy would take Jolly Ranchers.
And
then he would like melt them down and then put like a stick or something. And he would create like a Jolly Rancher lollipop.
Yeah. That's what the guy was doing. He was doing, because he would do those, and he would have somebody still in the parchment paper.
And then one guy was doing taffy. One guy was doing almost like a peanut brittle.
But the guy who did the burritos was killing it.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, you come through.
I used to order like, give me 5 on Saturday. You know what I mean? I'll buy them for everybody.
You eat them like like on the yard, walking with a burrito.
And those aren't cheap burritos, bro. They're like $2 or $3.
Yeah. Burrito guy was killing it, man. What else did you have in there, man? You had
Well, we could hop We'll hop to the highest making income job. Or entrepreneur hustle in prison. The Ticket Man.
The Ticket Man. That's not the Ticket Man, because you have to be organized.
Yes.
And you got to have money on the street.
He has an army of people.
Yeah, that's distributing tickets in every unit, and he's keeping track because he has the books.
Getting percentage.
He's getting a percentage, and everybody. If you're running the ticket for the Ticket Man, you're really getting 10%. So I ran the ticket for the Ticket Man, and if I got $500 worth of bets that weekend, and they lost, I got 10%. Of the 500, the loser. Yeah. So I was hoping people would lose.
Of course,
so
and
I
they
would
all
be
do.
making. Yeah, they all.
And it's funny. So the people, the ticket guys. Those who don't know, it's the sports book.
Sports books
in prison.
It's big right now. Football season.
Me as an inmate, Herc could come to me and be like, yo, Sin, what do you want today? It could be like NBA, it could be UFC, it could be football. There's a lot of things, you know, and then they start just going. It could be the latest boxing.
That's right. That's right.
And so I would see
the odds.
And you know how people were losing, Herc, is they're doing too many picks.
Yeah.
They're doing 4 picks.
Yeah.
And I would be like, yo, I would go to the ticket guy and do like 5 singles. And maybe be able to hit 3 out of 2, so I'm still winning.
Yeah.
And people, they start doing all these, and then even the guy that I would do it just for fun, I just to like occupy my time. I started doing even fantasy football. We do fantasy football in prison. So the one dude came to me that ran the book in my floor and was like, yo, bro, like you're like the most winning guy in the unit. He had them all highlighted.
Yeah. He kept track.
He was like, bro, you're like fucking 80-90%. And I was like, that's because I don't do 4 picks and 2 picks.
That's right.
Then those guys start to throw it away.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, how much you think those guys are making in a season between football, like you said, basketball?
Those guys are killing it, bro.
Yeah.
And you know why? Is when they do random raids on the prison and the prison gets locked down, they find those dudes' stamps their money. And they're like, oh, so-and-so got hit for $100 bucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then now the sports book guy might be down for a minute.
That's right.
He's got to get back right, because when they do random, like they raid the whole unit, sometimes they bring canines to the yard. And people don't know. And they start to find the bookies' monies. But I personally knew the bookies. And like on the streets, when people spend money, it's the jewelry, the cars, the homes. In prison, it's the same thing.
Sweatsuits.
It's everything, even the shoes. And you start to know, like, oh, that people get around, like he's the one who runs the book.
You know, it's crazy though. In such a small environment, it's still the hustle going down. Everybody's in on it. But you know what? We actually jumped, because bookie is probably it's head to head with the poker table guy.
I was gonna throw that next.
Because poker table dudes, some of them tables is making.
So here's the thing. I had a celly, and I think he would pull in sometimes maybe like $1,000 on a weekend.
Yeah.
But those people wouldn't pay. Bro, sometimes they would have to check in, or when the commissary bag came owing, you know what I mean? So it's not everyone's winning, but on those sports books, you would get your money up front. The table, sometimes they would let them ride, like, oh, you could shoot me commissary on Tuesday.
Well, you know the difference they did at the USPs? Before you can get into big money tables, you had to have your people send money to somebody on the street.
Right.
So you couldn't get in. Once it hit, like you had your people send $5,000 here.
Yeah.
Once it hits, then you're like, okay, you can play. And you only could play up to your max. But if you won, I would cash you out because I'm always good for it.
Right.
So that's how that shit played out at the higher tables. Because at the USPs, I mean, dude, there would be guys, there might be a poker game going on for 2 days. Like a game, they would have it like between movements. Don't touch anything. Remember, they leave? Dude, that shit would be there looking through the window, and it would still be the same cards. And literally, there might be $4,000 on the table, $5,000. Some of these dudes are like OGs. They're like, there's people in the yard, like you never even talked to them, but you know that's all they did. Oh, ballers. You don't even know what they were doing on the street.
You know, one of the smoothest hustles, really quick too, is, so just so you guys know, it's the poker, it's the bookie. The next one is, you mentioned you got into it yourself. So I had a celly at one point, and he was an elderly guy, and he just wanted something to do, but he also wanted to make a couple chips and whatever. He started typing for people in the law library. Bro, before you know it, every commissary day, this guy had inmates coming to his room every 2 minutes bringing him stuff. Yeah. At one point, he had so much store.
On the bed, huh?
He had so much store, he was like, I got too much. And he didn't have money, he was going to be going home soon. So I was like, you know what? I'll have my family shoot you money, and you just sell me your store that all these cats are bringing you.
Yeah.
Just because he was like almost 70, 80s, like he was an old dude. But bro, this guy was like clockwork, and people that don't know, you pay for people's hustles through buying them.
Buy the business.
Buy them groceries.
Yeah. Or you can buy somebody's store. You know, when the dude's leaving, he's like, hey, Sinister, you want to buy my store? And you'll see like his inventory, and then you'll see his list of people. And the store dude who's been there for a while, he has established clientele.
Right.
So literally, it's like a trap house. Like, hey, Sinister, so you have dudes come every week, every Friday, or when they get paid, when it posts, you'll have guaranteed $600-700 more shit coming back to you.
Right.
So
for those who don't know, let's touch base on a store. So in prison, what some of the people that hustle, there's what's called a store guy. So what a store guy does is he goes like a Costco and he buys a bunch of just junk, all bulked up. Yeah. He's buying the candy bars, the potato chips, the soda pops.
Ramen.
And so if you're in prison and you don't have it this week, like, oh man, I'm waiting for my mom to put money, but I sure want to have a soda and a Snicker bar. You go to fucking Herc and you're like on a Tuesday, like, hey Herc, can you shoot me a Snicker bar and a soda? And Herc, boom, I got you. Well, come Thursday, we all go to store. You're gonna have to give them 2 Snicker bars and 2 sodas. So it's 50. It's like one of everything you get.
That's right.
So a lot of people, that's like a really good hustle. I eventually started doing a store because I didn't care. So they had different types of the prison yard. You had a north and a south yard. And so I lived on the south, but my rec yard and the hobby shop was on the north yard. So I didn't really like be the kind of dude where I want to carry sodas and like I'm just not my thing. So I'll shop on the North Yard, and I might come to you, or I might have a homie. Hey man, go see Herc. Get us like a bag of chips. Put it on my thing, and it started kind of being crazy because it was like kind of new for me in prison. The store guy would be like, yo, Sin, like, here's your bill, it's $200. Yeah. I'm like, damn, like, I just owe the store guy $200, but I didn't care because I was doing my thing and I maneuver and make money. And then also I was fortunate enough to where what some of us do is we are only allowed to spend like $300-400, $360.
$360 is the max.
But if you're good, is you would send a kite home. This is a letter to your family, and you say, "Hey, put money on Big Herc." So now I can spend my $360, and I can spend another whatever he's allowing me to, or I shoot him up with more. So I could spend more money, but people are confined to spend, let's say, $400
your
a
max,
month.
but if they see you don't go to the store,
but I can live good and spend $800,
and I'll give you $50 for let me do it. Yeah. So let me spend $300, and I'll give you the other $50. So I'll max your store out. And you forgot the other hustle too, though. Saying the guy who sells books of stamps, he's like the bank.
Yeah.
So he's selling books of stamps, but for every book he wants a book and a half. So literally, once you get to enough books, you can make money just loaning other people books. And books of stamps, like you said, burritos, candy, store man. So there's a whole commercial.
Make your job for you. Work your job.
You know what I mean? So your stamps, the stamp man, I knew a dude who had like, this dude, he was the stamp man in Long Beach, dude. They said he had like 1,000 books. I mean, balling. Yeah, bro. Like literally, because he had been there for so long, but he was the OG. Like if you need something, you need books, you need shanks, come holler at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He sourced it out, and that was his hustle. He was the source guy. Yeah. Speaking of the source guy, one of the funniest hustles was there was a dude in Fez that he would sell magazines of girls naked.
Oh yeah,
and you could rent them for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And you could go to his cell and you could be like, "Yo, let me get a Playboy magazine for an hour."
Yeah, that was a hustle too. I
can't even believe this is a hustle.
I had a couple of dudes. I would give them books for like commissary. Give me like 2 soups. And I'll let you borrow the book overnight on the weekend. Friday nights, man, the books be checked out.
Yeah, me and the homie would laugh. Homeboy would be like, "Hey, you want to go halves on a book?" And I was like, "What you trying to go to get a prom date?"
Yeah. The porn game, the porn hustle. There was a cat in there. This dude, now he would charge, and I'm telling you right now, do not take any pictures out of a book because they had each page numbered.
You have to owe that dude $200, $300 bucks.
Yeah, man.
That magazine's a $500 magazine.
$500 because there was a, okay, there was a dude in there and he was connecting. Usually the guards would help him out, but the buttmans.
Oh, they were everywhere,
dude. The buttmans were worth like
they were
damn near $1,000.
That's what this dude was.
The buttmans, dude. A buttman.
If you came across one. And you were an inmate, and you wanted it for your own collection, and Herc was renting them?
I saw that mug for
sell it for $1,000.
$1,000. Buttmans were like, dude, literally, you exhaust yourself because it was like Buttmans were the top of the line European, and those they would rent those out. But I remember like there's another dude though.
How crazy is it that in prison they're renting out magazines?
Dude, there's another guy though, Sinister. He took the porn book, right, and he had made little tugs on it.
Players cards?
No.
Because they make those too.
No, so look, he took the porn, but he would make it somehow. He cut it up, and you do this to a page, and they'd be moving. So he would have it like the bra was giving head. The dudes are doing, dude. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Literally, so dude, this dude would have. It would have movement.
People are very inventive.
Oh my God, I don't know how long it took him to do that. But dude, you turn the page, you're like, he said, check this out, Herc. He do like this, and they be doing a movement.
Yeah.
In the books. I'm like, God, dude,
hey, another hustle that's on the border of that, which is totally funny, right? And we'll just crack up, is people sell what's called an institution picture. So you can have your girl, your homie, your friend, and mail you like an actual piece of photography picture, but it could be like a chick in lingerie, and it could be the dude's lady. But there's guys on the yard that have like photo albums. You can buy a photo album on commissary, and it has all the clear sheets. It might be 100 sheets, and a dude will roll around like, "Hey, you want to buy pictures?"
That's right.
And it pulls the photo album out.
Right. I forgot about that hustle.
Dude.
Yeah. Dudes are buying, selling pictures. Yeah.
And you're just so funny. And then after a while, they'll try to tell you like, hey, man, they're not letting in pictures in the mail room no more,
That's right.
These are going for more.
That's crazy. I remember they did it because I remember a dude was selling Britney Spears pictures.
Was he?
And then, remember when she had the thing that, dude, those were going for he was selling for $20 each.
Yeah.
That's another hustle. You know what? We forgot to touch on the most dangerous hustle.
Huh.
The dope game.
Oh, yeah.
The dope game is the most dangerous hustle in there.
I caught some repercussion from prison.
I tell you guys right now, the dope game in there, if you're going to prison, man, it's the quickest way for you to get your wig split.
Absolutely, 1,000.
And there was guys in there.
Or get you shipped if you're in a cool place.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, under investigation.
And your lady's 10 minutes, 15 minutes away, and now you're on that scene. You're gonna get cracked. You're gonna get shipped, and now what are your ladies with Sancho?
That's right. And they'll have you under investigation for months with no evidence, hearsay. And there's guys in there. I know guys who would put their kids through college hustling, but the risk factor. He spent a couple years in a hole, in and out.
So here's what happened in one of an instance we can talk about while I was incarcerated. I was in Terminal Island Federal Prison, and I was with one of the homies, and we were cool. But he liked to smoke spice. He liked to do what was the other one? It's like a synthetic H1, with the Suboxone shit.
Yeah.
And so it's count time. And they yell out, count time, and count time is a census count to make sure that no one's left, right? All of a sudden, the whole, the guards, the sergeant, and the captains swarmed up on my cell with me and homeboy during, and they disguised it as count time. They were all on us, and I was like, whoa. And they were like, you, out of the cell right now. And then patted me down. Mm-hmm. Nothing. You step over here, and I'm still on my cell, and I'm looking over, and my cellie's getting patted down. Instantly, he had a sock built onto his boxers, sewn in, and he had a cigarette lighter. He had some Suboxone, some spice, and maybe something else. And in that moment, I'm just sitting there watching. He's next to me getting patted down. I went first, and then they said, "Go stand there." And he's getting patted down, and because he had the sock with the lighter and all that, they rolled us both up and took us to the shoe. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying anything in the moment, why, you can't. This prison, you never say anything, right? And they put us in the shoe, ironically, together. And it makes you wonder, is there a microphone in that fucking cell? Excuse my French. Yeah. And I told him, I was like, bro, why didn't you fucking, say that's all you in the moment? You know what I mean? He didn't say nothing, which maybe that's his stand-up thing, but in the end, that's on him, I had nothing to do with his fucking scenario of us going to the shoe. And then eventually he was like, well, yeah, I'll let him know, and, and so I stayed in the shoe for 17 days with them under investigation. And then eventually, I couldn't say anything the whole time. I can't go and say, I didn't do it. They would say, hey, do you want to come out and talk to SIS? Yeah. And then I would even have to, eyeball this dude and relay and, say, is he going to leave? Because if they take you for a drug case, they're eventually going to come to your cell in the shoe and say, you're coming with us to, a private fucking room. And who knows what goes on in that fucking private room, right? But for me, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going there. And that's another thing when people will talk about going to SIS. There was a time where I caught a black eye, and there was other things. When you go to SIS, you want to take an inmate with you.
That's right. People don't know
that.
He's my rep. Come with me. Yeah. Witness.
I one time was somebody was they're call me to SIS for what? I don't know, man. Come with me. And people go in there by themselves. Yeah. But anyway,
twist you up.
Yeah. And so homeboy eventually he got shipped from the yard. But obviously I didn't, because I didn't do anything. I was I'm not slanging in prison, I'm just living like the good fellas, doing my time, right? But this person got rolled up and he got shipped, and who knows if he got more time or whatever. And then there was another case where a dude, and he was a white guy, and he was getting, he was copping stuff from other races even. and he was owing them money. And eventually, you know, he was kind of like a Bernie Madoff on his case. You know, he was embezzling money from people. He didn't have like a gangster swag, so in order to fit in, he was like fronting people and giving people, you know, stuff he was getting, and then eventually he couldn't pay for it. You know, and so
turns all bad.
It turns all bad, bro. You know, and so
that's the quickest way to get killed.
Yeah.
Quickest way to get killed. And then, you know, you forgot to mention.
And for little money, bro.
Well, little
it could
money.
be like, this was a lot, but it can be little. It could be $50.
But what about the guy who buys somebody else's debt? I've seen people buy somebody's drug debt. Now you owe him.
It's funny you say that because I would do that on the streets.
Yeah, now you owe me. And then you got this dude who's a hitter.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I want my shit next week. You're like, oh, man, you owe this dude. And he's already known to be, he don't play.
Right.
So that shit happens too. So you guys, there's a lot of hustles in prison, and a lot of you guys, I hate to say it, you need to be up on game because you're gonna go there because you're doing dumb shit. You're out there running around, robbing, whatever you're doing, jacking, you know, slaying, and you're gonna be in prison. So these are a couple of things you need to be aware of. And like he said, if you ever go to SIS, you better bring you a witness.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, because that's real shit, man. They get you up in there, and you thought you were getting interrogated when you got arrested. In prison, they got a whole nother level of interrogation.
Totally, yeah.
Whole nother level.
And then now, you just saw, like, your homeboys from the TV room just saw you go in there.
That's right.
So maybe on the street, you think you might get away with that because no one saw you go in here, but you're coming back out, bro. They want to know what just happened in there, bro.
Yeah.
And even if you said, oh, man, they were talking about this, and I didn't say that, bro, you might get stomped out.
Yeah, that next they're plotting like,
yeah,
damn, Sinister was gone for a couple hours. Did you see him come back? And then what they're doing, remember they'll when it locked down, and then everybody looking through the peephole.
They'll take somebody from lockdown.
Well, even like, see, if you're in dorm, everybody can see you come back. But when you're in a cell, people are seeing like, did you see so-and-so get walked out?
You got walked across the
yard,
what
happened with him?
Yeah.
So, dude, there's eyeballs all the time watching your stuff.
You know, they say that even so, SIS is a form of policing within the federal system.
Yeah.
And those are the people that investigate inmates and guards and so on. And so, like, when we're talking about the magazines, like, those are clearly brought in from a guard.
Of course,
right?
of course.
And so the person I would rent those from, you know, me just kind of being savvy or check that scenario and be like, like, I know this guy's got the connect and that. I've even had someone ask me to hold like some spice before and it was the size of a Nerf ball. That doesn't come through the visiting room. You know what I'm saying? And so, but to each his own, I would never chop it up with a guard and like try to get something from him because my theory was those people put me here and I'm not cool with them and I don't want to be known as people that talk to those dudes, but you know, to each his own that finesses a guard to do something like that, you know, but I don't know, I lost track where I was going with
well, we were talking about the whole SIS thing and when you're up in there.
Oh, so when those guys, for those who don't know, that's the police, right?
Yeah.
And so those guys, they do very elaborate investigations.
Yeah.
And with that being said, they will give out stamps to inmates for inmates to...
Or cigarettes.
Yeah, for inmates to tell on other people.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember a guard, when I was in the shoe with my bunkie that got rolled up, a guard was coming up to our like serving us our chow and was like, man, you guys should know better in here that rats are jumping over rats. You can't slang in here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you're going to get hemmed up, bro. I mean, you're like all of these people, this is like...
Well, I told you my hustle in prison was legal work, and we were filing paperwork for people, helping people get rid of like priors, you know, helping people with child support and stuff like that. And I remember one time after count, and they did the 4 o'clock count, and then they came to the cell and told us to get the hell out, the lieutenant. I'm like, damn, and they said, go sit down. And we sat down there, and he searched our cell for the whole dinner count, the whole dinner movement. We didn't even go to dinner. Can we watch and make sure like this up in there?
Oh, that's the other thing too. You know, when someone's under investigation, they'll just come pinpoint, and it's a grip of them, not just like the,
he was just one.
unit officer.
We had a dude. He was like, you know, Charles Bronson. You know, he was a Clint Eastwood up in there, and he went up in there, and he said, "Come here, bring your ass up here." And we came up to him. He said, "Don't say shit." He said, "I know you're in here doing legal work. I know you're in here filing paperwork. You got 2-3 pairs of shoes. You got all this stuff in your locker."
Oh,
he said, "Just don't file on my COs."
No, they'll come after inmates.
Yeah, they said don't follow my COs. And then another thing too is even on the legal work hustle, if you're really good with legal work and you're helping people, sometimes the person you're helping, if they think they're going to prevail, they'll ship them. So you can't continue to help them. So you can't help certain people. So certain people, they know.
I have seen that too.
They ship people. Like we were helping a dude and they shipped him. Took him to the hole and we couldn't help him no more.
Yeah, no, there's things where like people are meant to be kept down. And if you're pushing paperwork to try to help their case, or maybe that person starts to kind of fire on a guard too, that's one thing. And so as I know someone right now who, and their family member, their parent is incarcerated right now and really going through certain things. And I was like, strange, because I never went through some of that. And what it is this person they're speaking of is pushing, we call it pushing paperwork on guards. And as lame as a guard is, if he's coming in and doing this, like, what are you going to do? You're going to like put in a piece of paper to tell the warden, like, this guy's a lame? Remember, like, you know he's a lame, right? So now what those guards do is you arrive and you look at your paperwork for the next day, like what you're supposed to do. Next thing you know, you're moved from A unit to B unit. They'll move you, and they start to talk about who these lames are that put paperwork in on them. You know, so you almost have to just suck up anything that a guard is going to disrespect you, because you almost can't put paper, because they're gonna come back.
They control your world, man.
Yeah, bro. They're gonna also be what's the word I'm looking for? Vindictive.
Yeah. It's definitely like when you're doing. They call it a. I think initially you call it a cop out, but they call it like a BP8.
Yeah, BP9.
BP9. Yep. And then once you start getting up to where you're going to like DC.
That's a form of a complaint.
That's a form of a complaint inside, because literally you have to exhaust your administrative remedies. Then you can file an actual petition in court. And when they see you're going that far, they're like, get them out of here.
Yeah, but there's inmates that they just do that all day.
Oh, they're good. Some of them good too. They know what they're doing. So, yeah, man, along with your hustles, you know, your rights up in there is screwed. It's just a shitty place. And, man, we just trying to give you guys a little game so you can be ready.
Real quick, one of the hustles that relates to my thing is people even making, like art, hobby craft. You'd be surprised at like the inventiveness of people. They make things out of cans or sculptures. They make like rosaries out of clothing. Like, it's just like the skills and the things that come out of there sometimes. And like people sell like, let's say a greeting card. It's Valentine's Day. I want to buy something special for my girl. And a guy would sell him a handmade card for like $15. And I was like, man, like Hallmark is $5. You know what I mean?
But, I've seen actually prison clothes. Like sweats, altering your sweats to make them look fly. Yeah. Dudes are like putting pockets, little shit on the sweats. I've seen dudes do that. Like, dude, where'd you get those sweats from?
Yeah,
and they're great. Remember?
I started doing stuff too.
Yeah. You can, if you come back like you got a Fila sweatsuit up in there, but it's prison. And like, you know, guards are looking like, damn. But literally, guys are creative up in there, man. It's like, and then you forgot about the tattoo hustle.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
tattoos
that's big too. Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's a big hustle in there. So there's a lot of hustles in prison for you guys. I mean, hopefully you don't have to go there to get them.
Leave a comment on a hustle if we missed it.
Yeah, leave a comment, man. Chime in and yeah, man.
Tell us what's your hustle.
916, getting down with Sinister. Stop walking around with a crusty butt, smelly ball sack, and a funky hoo-ha. Big Herc said, wash that ass. Pick you up a t-shirt at freshoutseries.com.